Hey, it's Jesse Eker, founder and CEO of Build Your Brand Online. We help entrepreneurs build seven-figure brands using the power of virtual events. I want to give you a quick look behind the scenes of what our mentorship and flagship program looks like. If you have any questions at all or you want more information on this mentorship program, comment events below and we'll be sure to reach out to you. Enjoy.
I kind of took the approach of Sarah Jane's approach on her last event or her first event. I'm just kind of like winging, just saying, to put it in like I think the best terms. In terms of content, Jesse, I think you and I had a conversation in regards to my content. I'm just a little bit confused, I guess, in terms of content. I'm delivering chunks of information,
Okay.
rather than like, I don't even know if I'm doing it right, but I'm just doing it. I'm into like day 3 into it. And today when I was talking in the middle of talking during my event, I was like, what am I doing? Am I doing this right? So I'm just picking little things from different aspects of, energy production, performance, and all these different things. So for example, today I was talking about breathing and how it's linked to hormones, and then like habit building, but it's not really, it's nothing really continuous. So is that the wrong way of doing it, or is there a better way of doing it?
What do you mean it's not continuous?
As in, like, it's just kind of chunks of information.
Okay.
I kind of tied it together through inflammation, which is, a lot of people, everybody pretty much goes through as modern humans. So that's kind of how I tied it together. Continuous in the sense that, one day is not really linked to another type of thing.
So, that's okay. It's not necessarily linked to another. It's like more process driven of like, these are the different elements to help you with energy. So when you're creating your design, again, it's got to be linked to your offer, right? So if it's linked to your offer, then I believe that, you're totally in the okay format. If it has nothing to do with your offer, that's going to be an issue, right? Because it's not going to be congruent anymore. So like, again, when we go back to the actual design of the event, there's 2 ways that we want to think about it. Number 1 is taking the pillars of your offer and talking about each pillar in a specific way that's going to get them a win or momentum in what they're doing. But then it's just the taste of it. It's the tip of the iceberg for them moving forward, right? The other process is you either have a micro result that you give them. So let's just say you teach them how to build an offer, right? And then now that they've built their offer, they want to go and launch that offer. And that's the program that you are offering them. That's the difference, right? So it's just got to be one of the 2. And so if you're taking a pillar and diving into that, which seems to be like hormones, right? And you're taking a piece of that, that's okay, right? You're giving content that's going to make sense in your overall offer of what they're doing, of what you're doing. Does that work?
Yeah, I think, that makes sense for sure. I didn't have time. My attention is a little bit divided these days. So I didn't have the chance to go back and look at the previous videos that were the previous trainings. So I think I was just a little bit confused there. I'm just literally winging it.
That's
I'm
okay.
writing the emails as we go every day versus before. Yeah.
That's okay, and a lot of people actually do this and do exceptionally well with it. So I wouldn't worry too much about winging it. What I would just make sure that I'm following the principles that creates the process that works, right? And so as long as you're following that process, it doesn't matter about how short a time you're doing it, as long as you're doing it, in a formatted process that's not winging it away from what we've taught, right? So the way that you really teach is really simple. It's, why is this important? what do you need to know about it? Here's a little bit of a takeaway that you can walk away with today. Literally can take 30 minutes. Literally can take 20 minutes. Literally can take an hour, whatever you want. It's one single thing. So you talked about one single thing. You talked about one single thing. You talk about why it's important. So like what if you're not having this is what you're experiencing on a negative side, frustrations wise, right? If you do have this is what you experience on a positive side. Now, here's what you need to know to make sure that you stay on that positive side so that you move away from the negative side.
Right.
That's it. So that's principle based. And that could be like a model. That could be like just, principles of what it is. Here's how it works, but you're not giving them like a worksheet or anything to like a template to do it. They have to do it. So like, for example, in our event, we teach people how to fill their event. We teach who, where, what, and how they would actually do that. But like the how mechanisms of how they do that is so much deeper than just the generic principles of filling your event, right? We give templates, we give landing page scripts, we teach you the headlines and the bullets. Like there's, we teach you hands up activation type stuff. We give you, which we're going to be releasing next week, the full on marketing plan, right? Of what you should be doing 3 weeks leading up to your event, every single post, every single thing that you should be doing. Like that is what we're giving you versus what I teach is here's how you generate a lead, right? So and articulating that difference in your offer is where you make or break your event. Right? So as long as you can articulate the congruency of both of those, you're going to be good. Now, if you're going incongruent with things, you're going to have a harder time because people are buying into what you're doing right now. And then they're going to be like, well, I wanted to learn more about that. So as long as you can wrap them together in some sort of way to your energy offer, you're going to do well.
Okay.
As long as you have the right people there, the process and all that stuff. But that's where you're going to have the most effective and efficient close, right? Because that's what this event is for. It's not for giving people free information. It's for building the authority in a certain topic, sharing results in advance that move them along to wanting to work more with you. And so if you don't feel like you're doing that, Deanna, then just simply look at what you're offering for the next and say, here's what's one thing that I feel like people are going to love. Let me teach them about that. And that's it. Like, we were having a conversation. I was learning so much just from the conversation we had, and you probably were giving me barely anything. Now you were giving me some like tips of like trying, you were like, I was like ordering stuff as we were going. Like, this is all new shit for me. Right? So, again, I don't know if I'm your avatar or not, but I think you got to continue to think of most people don't understand your level of stuff, and you just sharing what to do or what to think about is going to totally dramatically change their perspective without having to really give them a diagnosis of this is what you should do, right? Like, so you told me like, this is like, you should cut this out for the next 3 weeks. Like, I wouldn't go that far. I would just say you shouldn't be eating dairy, gluten, or what was the other one? I don't know. Something like that.
Processed sugar, yeah.
Yeah, so you shouldn't be doing that. That's what you should say. But what you would say is, but in my program, I give a 14-day boot camp of walking you through this step by step so that you don't have a hard time doing that, right? So, and that's another thing for everyone on this call. It's called seeding, okay? And if you watch any of my event, I am seeding the crap, I am seeding, I'm seeding the Chip, my bad. I am seeding the program the whole time. I'm going to be watching my language because I want to make sure that I am appropriate for everyone. So I'm going to be, I seed the program the whole time. So anytime I'm talking about filling the event, anytime or designing the event, I will add a little bit of a chirp, right? I'll add a little bit of a chirp to, hey, this is, the tip of the iceberg, right? In their actual program, like, not only do you know how to fill your event, but we give you the templates to make this easy. We give you this stuff. Like I talk about my program constantly. So people are buying into my program because it's congruent with what I'm talking about, right? So I'm just giving little bits and pieces where I feel like it. So like if you mention something, Deanna, where it's like, don't do this, or you should do this, then also say, and in our program, you know, whatever your name is, we actually create a customized thing for you. But for today, I really just want to go over the top. And I want to just exceed your expectations. I want to give you bits and pieces that are really going to change your life. But, you know, obviously there's only so much that we can do in this period, but I really want to make sure that I give you the amount that you are like over deliver, right? I always do that, right? Like I'm always like, we do this, but today I'm going to give you the really important parts to get you started.
So in regards to the seating, should I start talking about my program right from day one? Not in a, I mean, I did talk about my framework, my method. I didn't really talk about the program I'm going to pitch tomorrow and Friday. So should I be talking about the program from day one in the way that you were just talking, and like seeding it from the beginning?
I'm seeding it from the beginning. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, I talk about my mentorship program from the beginning. I talk about that. This is, you know, this is what we use in our mentorship program. This is, you know, the framework that we use, plus like there's different parts. I'm constantly talking about it, and I'm not beating around the bush with it. And I also talk about how I'm going to be using this event to give as much information as possible for you to get started on building your virtual event. And I use the word started over and over again, because then I can say in my offer, who feels like they have a great start? And then I can say, awesome, that's the point of this event. But how do we know that, you know, we all are really great starters, but, you know, when it comes to push comes to shove actually implementing it, what are we going to do to actually do it? Well, you have two choices. Number one is you go do it yourself, right? How has that been working for you so far? Well, you probably joined this event because you don't have energy, because you're trying to do it yourself. Option number two is you get my mentorship, right? Where I give you a customized blah, 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 you know? So, you know, you use your language continuously through your, through like, very specifically, right? Now, maybe I need to like bring on like a NLP master, right? Because like this is like not I didn't learn this. I just like picked it up based off of just being in this industry for a while. So I never want to tell them that they can like complete this on their own. I'm telling them that they can get started on their own. But starting and starting and performing are two different things, right? How many of you have started something and continue to suck over the last like 4 years of doing it, right? Me, all the time, all of us, right? What's the fastest way for you to get better? Well, learn from someone else. Or, you know, you pay for it, whether it's your own time and energy over time, or you pay for it with mentorship. So, continue seeding. Like that's a big one, Deanna. If you can seed, that would be good. Another thing that, you know, you might want to do too, to like build even more relationships throughout the week, if you don't have a VIP, is offer like a Q&A section, right? So, hey, thanks so much for joining me live. I'm going to come back in a couple hours and do like a Q&A section, or I will take the last 5 minutes of the event and do like a personalized Q&A. Or, you know, just like when people are asking questions, you'll find that they're super surface level questions based off of, you know, what you know in your program. And the more that you can like just give them the attention, they're going to be like, man, like it's so awesome that I'm getting all this stuff for free. Right. So the more that you can like really help them get started, the better off you're going to be, because they're going to want to continue on with them. Right. And so I think that's a really big one, that the coaching element of this is where, like, you know, we really want to make sure we're putting attention to. Again, that's going to depend on a lot of different parts, but I think it's a great opportunity for you to just give more results in advance, because you know they're asking a question of a symptom base, not a root base. And so you're giving them an answer, but that's giving them a great head start, but it's not the answer that they really need.